girls. I'm coming to you today with a brand new story from our Ready Gen reading series entitled Porpoises in Peril, Science Squad. It's written by Gwendolyn Hooks and illustrated by Tony Forbes. This book specifically has characters that are in the field of science, like researchers. And our very first lesson is going to work on how an author uses details and examples to talk about the story. When we're reading this story, we want to talk about what we see is happening. Is there a problem that our scientists have to solve, or are they just taking a vacation? What exactly is going on? And once we look at the details, how do these details help us figure out what the story is all about? Because I'm sure from all of your other hard work and your other grades that you know that details help support the big idea. So in this lesson, we're going to learn how readers use details and examples to explain their understanding of the text. Porpoises in Peril. And there's our science squad, all of our scientists. Cam and Kate, and Jada and Reggie. And this is the very first chapter. Jada sprinted into the headquarters of the Global Environmental Research Agency, known as GERA. She ran up 5 flights of steps, opened the door, labeled training, and saw her science squad colleagues sitting around the lab tables, flipping through a fat pile of papers, their new assignment. Now, I want you to call your attention to the word sprinted and look at what Jada's doing, how her actions are matching this particular word. I bet you've probably already figured out sprinted could be another word for running quickly. And this word as well, colleagues. Colleagues is another word we can use for our teammates, people that we work with. Thank you for joining us, Professor Q said. Ah, I lost, said Cam, looking dejected. Lost what, a rare plant? Asked Jada as she slipped onto a chair and pulled a tablet from her backpack. Cam was a botanist and had a backyard greenhouse full of rare plants. Now we see lots of bigger words, longer, more mature vocabulary, 4th grade vocabulary in the books for Ready Gen this year. Botanist, though, does have some clues as to what a botanist might be. Probably someone who studies rare plants. Now, no, I lost the bet with Kate, said Cam. I bet that she'd be late for our meeting, and now I have to buy her lunch. Cam sighed. But speaking of plants, I have a new one that you have to see. It's got a little ... You can tell she wants to continue talking about probably one of her favorite subjects. Hold on, Kate, said Kate. If he starts talking about plants, our meeting will last twice as long. Kate's dark eyes sparkled while Reggie, the 4th member of the squad, chuckled. The professor pushed the forward button on her wheelchair and glided across closer to the others. She moved her long braid from her left shoulder to her right shoulder, and that was a signal that she was ready to discuss an important environmental problem. I'm sure you probably have your own mannerisms. They have picked up on from her body language, nothing that she said, but that the professor, when she was ready to start a conversation, she flipped her braid from one side to the other. We probably do the very same thing without even realizing it. That was the signal that she was ready to discuss an important environmental problem. She looked straight at them and said, "Sick porpoises." Reggie snapped his pencil in half, and his shoulders tensed. He hated to hear about any animal being sick, whether a wild one or a pet. And notice Professor Q is pointing to what we are currently studying or going to be studying, which are graphs. Professor Q continued, local officials spotted several porpoises near an island off the northern coast of Taiwan, exhibiting uncharacteristic behavior. Exhibiting means showing. And you know that un is a prefix that would mean not. Uncharacteristic means not in character, not the behavior they should be showing or displaying. Because of the porpoises have been losing weight quickly, the officials believe that something or someone has contaminated the local food supply of these animals. Now remember, reference back to our story from Wonderopolis, where we talked about and read about purification of water. So I'm wondering, could something be happening here with the water where these porpoises are currently living, their habitat? There is a risk that the population will decline and that eventually all porpoises will die. So the officials have asked for our help. I do not have to tell you the importance of maintaining the proper ecological balance in the world's environment. One mishap in one part of the globe can have disastrous effects on the opposite side of the world. Ecological. I know that each and every one of you have learned about the ecosystems. You probably even did a project on ecosystems last year in 3rd grade or possibly even 2nd. Ecological is the same thing as an ecosystem, a habitat for whatever animal or insect that might live there. The science squad members looked at each other. They knew how important this was. Well, when do we leave? Reggie asked excitedly. Your flight departs in 2 hours, Professor Q answered. I've made airline and hotel reservations for you, and your Gira credit cards are loaded with enough money for living expenses and any emergencies that might arise. Jada has all the information on her tablet, and the rest of you have hard copies. Hard copies would mean they have paper copies. Study it on your flight. Oh, and good luck. Notice they give kind of a timeline of each of the things that they do on their journey to Taiwan. After their 11-hour flight from Los Angeles to Taipei, then a 2-hour flight on a tiny, shaky plane, then a long moonlit walk, the science squad finally checked into a tiny bamboo inn on a small island in the waters between Taiwan and Japan. We're going to stop reading here for today. I have a question for you, and I want you to answer it on Seesaw. There'll be an assignment there for you, and you may answer this question in a recorded form. All the directions will be there, but this is the question. What is the job of the science squad, and how do you know? Now, referencing back to 3rd grade, having evidence to support your answer was super important in 3rd grade, and a big emphasis on your standard of finding evidence to support your work. So I want you to go and make sure that you reference where you find your information and give me that in the recording. In addition, I want you to answer some closed reading questions in written form, and that will also be in Seesaw as a part of this assignment. So today we stop on page 9, and we'll pick up the next time that we read on page 10, finding out what the science squad does in order to solve the problem of why the porpoises are declining in population. You may listen to this recording again. I will also do screenshots of the pages, so you'll have those as well. Thanks for listening.